All aboard, all aboard. Make sure to board this tram as our next tour will be a scheduled Spanish language tour.
Hello, hello everybody, and welcome to the world famous Universal Studios Hollywood Studio Tour Nighttime Edition. My name is Tom, I'm going to be your tour guide today to explore the world's largest functioning movie studio. Now normally I'd pop on camera to show you guys my gorgeous face, but here's what it looks like right now. It's not great. This light right here totally washes me all out. So I am a real person, this is a real live tour guide giving you a tour here today. I'm not a robot, I promise. But I do want to show you what I look like on camera and why I'm not going to be on camera tonight. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have all kinds of fun and excitement down on the back lot here today. Now, as we're boarding the train, please make sure to slide in all the way to the right-hand side, filling in all available seats. If you have any small children with you, those little minions whose feet can't touch the ground, the best place for them is the center of the aisle. Now's a great time to adjust for that, because there's no standing during the tour. How's it going? Let's see, what else? You're also getting a pair of those 3D glasses. If you don't have a pair of 3D glasses, go ahead and raise your hand and get the attention of one of our studio tour ambassadors. We'll be sure to bring you another pair. You don't have to put them on just yet, just keep them handy. I'll tell you when you're going to need them later on. Now we're going to be closing these gates here on the left. Watch your hands, legs, and feet as they close the gates. We're going to go in here in just a few moments, guys.
Bring the noise.
Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Fantastic Tom.
And the greatest driver.
Armando the Magnificent.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
My best friend Tom
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, a few safety rules as we get underway. First things first, if you need any assistance during the tour, you us motion pictures, television shows, music videos, commercials, you name it. And on the nighttime studio tour, you'll see our famous studio in an entirely different light. Lighting design is an integral part of motion picture making. Tonight you'll see firsthand how the lighting designer creates the atmosphere, time of day, and mood for a scene. To support all these productions, our lighting and grip department has an inventory of over 125,000 lighting instruments and over 500 miles of cable. The lighting department's role is crucial in fulfilling the vision of the director, as well as bringing the written words of the script to life. In fact, true movie magic often takes place only at night. Let's take a look. Now, I should mention to you guys, we are an active live filming location, so in the off chance they happen to be doing some filming right next to where the tram is, I may very well have to suddenly hop off the microphone, and then start talking to you guys again, just as soon as I'm able to. Now, coming up on your left-hand side is Soundstage 12. Currently, it's home to NBC's hit singing competition, The Voice. That's right, that's what all goes down. That's where all those contestants and judges do their thing right there inside of Soundstage 12. Now, it's not just used for The Voice, though. It's also been home to some of the most iconic scenes in movie history. Sometimes big exterior scenes are filmed in our back lot as well as inside our sound stages. That was the case with the town of Whoville for Ron Howard's The Grinch. A lot. Now, 25 and 24 were more recently used to film Season 2 of Colony, starring Josh Holloway. Season 1 is on Netflix right now. And here in 23 and 22, which you're passing by right now, is where we filmed one of my favorite new NBC hit comedies, Superstore, starring America Ferrera and Ben Feldman. It all happens right there inside of sound stages 23 and 22. If you went inside there, it looked like any store that you or I might go to on any given day. It's got thousands of products lined on the shelves. It looks exactly like a real store. The exterior or outside of Cloud9 Superstore is just on the other side of our lot off of Farm Boulevard. Now the soundstage here on the left-hand side, soundstage 27, is one of my personal favorites. They've shot all kinds of cool and exciting things in there. In Jurassic Park, when the dinosaur sneezes on them when they're stuck in the tree, happened right there inside soundstage 27. There's mission control for Apollo 13. We even have a tank of water in there we can stick our actors in, where we tested out the shark from Jaws. But it's currently home to the Mindy Project, starring Mindy Kaling.
Hi everybody, I'm Mindy, and welcome to the world-famous Universal Studios Tram Tour. I wish I could join you, but I'm really busy shooting my show, The Mindy Project.
Also, you were banned from the trams because you jumped off when you tried to hug Steven Spielberg.
For your information, he loved it, okay?
I don't recommend that.
If you're out there, I'm waiting for our close encounter.
Leave the guy alone, he's super busy.
I think we had a connection.
Big fan of Jesus.
Edit this out, please.
Of course not. Now as we make our way along here, we have some more fun and exciting sound stations on the right-hand side. We have 42 and 43 right here next to our Illumination Entertainment sign. 42 and 43 where they've recently been shooting the episodic hit drama Pure Genius. Then up here in 44 on the right-hand side, a little while ago we shot scenes from Furious 7, but currently it's home to The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. This is just one of many locations they actually shoot at, and we're actually going to get to see another one of the locations a little bit later on in the tour. Now, I am talking a lot about television, and there's a very specific reason for that. You see, here at Universal Studios Hollywood, we're part of a larger company. It's called NBC Universal. Now, NBC Universal brings you some of your favorite television channels you watch every single day, such as the following. We have NBC, E, Sci-Fi, USA, Bravo, Telemundo, NBC Universal, the Golf Channel, CNBC, MSNBC, the Weather Channel, the Oxygen Network, the Esquire Network, and NBC Sports, just to name a few. Now as we make our way along here, you notice these small buildings on the left-hand side of the tram. These are production bungalows. Now back in the day, these were the home away from home for some of Hollywood's biggest stars like Jimmy Stewart or Doris Day. This is where they kick back, relax, maybe had a bite to eat, maybe study some of their lines for the next scene. But nowadays they're used as production offices, so we do all kinds of business-related activities in here. A lot of pre-production or anything that happens before we start rolling happens in here. So they might have auditions, they might have writers meetings where they edit a script. A bunch of producers might get together and say, hey guys, this script is really awesome, we should make this TV show or film. All those sorts of wonderful and exciting things all happen here inside these production bungalows. As a matter of fact, Illumination Entertainment, which bought you the Despicable Me franchise, Secret Life of Pets, Minions, and the brand new movie Sing, has an office over here inside of our production bungalows. Now on the left-hand side of the tram right now is a brand new building. It all looks all sparkling and new. This is a really exciting thing for us. This is a brand new soundstage. We actually just built this fall. It's super high-tech, super exciting on the end of there. It's absolutely enormous on the inside. It can be either two sound stages or one if they open it up into one. It's so brand new, we've only had one production actually get the film inside of there, and that was Hairspray Live. They filmed right here inside of this soundstage as well as inside of our metropolitan sets and made them look like the city of Baltimore. Now, we're about to enter the back lot because we've left the front lot, where the world is literally just around the corner out here. We shoot the big stuff out here, guys. Exterior scenes or outside scenes on a very large scale. At times, filmmakers are even called upon to film nighttime scenes during the day. That's exactly what we did for the film Streets of Fire, where the lighting and grip department created over a mile of special black fabric to completely cover our entire metropolitan sets, so they could film night scenes during the day. Just about every famous star in Hollywood has walked down these city streets at one time or another.
Nice place, sir.
This area right here is called Brownstone Street. We used it in Bruce Almighty. This is where his apartment is. Alright, we're going to go ahead and leave Brownstone Street. Now, not only have famous stars appeared on these sets, but famous cars as well. Take a look at your screens. Back in 1985, a bold lighting sent Marty McFly in his time-traveling DeLorean Back to the Future. The wide shots of this famous scene were filmed right here in Courthouse Square. Now you'll notice the building looks a little bit different than it did actually in the movies, and there's a very specific reason for that, you guys. You see, that classic clock tower actually became so iconic that nobody wanted to film out here. They're like, you guys, everybody's going to recognize it from Back to the Future. So, when the Ghost Whisperer moved out here to film, they actually built a facade of a clock tower just in front of the original clock tower. So the original clock tower is still there. If you were to go through those doors that we just saw over there and look straight up, you'd actually see the original clock tower. It does still exist. So a lot of people oftentimes ask me that. The original clock tower is in fact there. But we're going to go ahead and leave the small town of Hill Valley. And we're going to head to a much bigger, much greater city right here, right now. We're going to go ahead and enter the Big Apple. 60 years ago, cinematic history was made on top of a subway grate in New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting one of the most iconic images of the 20th century, it's Marilyn Monroe. Miss Monroe, how about some photos?
Of course, anything for my fans. Oh, do you hear that? Don't you just love the breeze from the subway? Oh, hello, handsome. Oh, here comes another one.
Thank you, Miss Monroe. Now, to create this iconic scene from the 70s Ridge, it took 14 takes in the entire night filming the location in New York City. And even with all that work, the filmmakers still couldn't get it right. The scene you see in the movie was actually filmed on a soundstage in Hollywood. Now we're going to continue going through the good old Big Apple through here. This is New York Street right here, where recently this summer they had the LA City qualifiers and city finals for American Ninja Warrior. That's right, they had the obstacles set up right here through these very city streets. It was really cool. They even have a live studio audience out here. The coolest thing about that is, speaking of filming at night, is I actually went to the nighttime taping of American Ninja Warrior. I'm a huge fan of Matt Eisman, Akbar, Abashi Amila. All those guys love that show, Jesse Graff, and all of them. So I went to the taping, and here's the thing, you guys. They actually taped that all night. I got here at 11 o'clock at night. They were doing the obstacle courses at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, which is super impressive. So when you see it happening at night on TV, it was actually happening through the middle of the night. It wasn't like 10 or 11. It's even more impressive they're able to do that all through the middle of the night. I couldn't even do it during the day, that's for sure. Now we've gotten to work with some amazing and exciting directors out here on our sets, but also, one of which is Mr. Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times.
Hi guys.
So I was
Nice
thrilled
to see
when
you guys.
Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That's right, we are about to return to Skull Island, so make sure you stay seated at all times while on the Universal Tram. If you have a flash going, please turn your flash off so you don't blind your neighbors. feet tall. Now you guys can go ahead and take off your 3D glasses for the time being, but hang on to them. You're going to need them a little bit later on in the tour when things get a little fast and a little furious. Now that amazing ride could have been possible without the folks over at Weta Digital. Weta Digital is a 5-time Academy Award-winning digital effects studio, and they brought you such films as Avatar, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit trilogy. They recently worked on Central Intelligence with Dwayne Johnson, and of course Peter Jackson's King Kong. And you can take a look here at how we teamed up with Weta Digital, Peter Jackson, and our creative team here at Universal Studios Hollywood to create that amazing ride experience. Take a look.
With a project like the Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Alright, so we're making our way out of the metropolitan sets, as we call them right now. That is, in fact, one of the most used areas of the entire backlot. In fact, I was just watching an episode of NCIS the other day, and sure enough, they actually used New York Street as Marseille, France. They changed some of the languages on the signs. They had background actors wearing French clothing and things like that, and we were transported all the way to France, right there in our metropolitan sets. Agent Denoza was walking right through. So now that you guys are getting a chance to see some of these sets, you'll actually start to recognize some of these places when you see them on TV and in the movies. You can say, hey, I know where that was shot. I rode the studio tour. I recognize those sets. Just look out for them everywhere. Now, if you guys are studio tour veterans, we're taking a slightly different route than we would normally take. So this is something nice and special through here. This will be a really good time. For those of you who are not studio tour veterans, let me tell you a little bit about the Studio Tour. The Studio Tour is actually the first ever attraction here at Universal Studios Hollywood. Back in the day, it was just a movie studio. Carl Lumley founded it. They made a bunch of movies out here. And they were like, you know what? We should show everyone how we make the movies. Because back then, they didn't have behind-the-scenes Blu-ray commentary and DVD commentary from the directors and things like that. So if you wanted to hear how they made the scenes in the different various productions, you had to see for yourself. And thus, the Studio Tour was born. And it was through the success of the Studio Tour that the rest of the theme park was actually built around. In the original days of the Studio Tour, it was actually something you did the entire day. You came out here, you watched them make the movies all morning, you'd have a catered lunch, you'd go back out, they had bleachers set up where you could watch them make the movies, you could cheer on the good guys and boo the bad guys, because they weren't recording live audio. And then afterwards, you'd meet up with Bud Westmore, who's an iconic makeup artist, and he would make a couple people look like Hollywood